All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are going to take a look at some of the top college football matchups for this weekend, as well as looking at the early slate for week one in the NFL. But before I get into that, we do have breaking news. And I just, again, always look for a way to use that. So Jalen Ramsey reached an agreement with the Dolphins on a contract extension. Their top corner, a 3-year extension worth $24.1 million per year to make him the highest paid corner in NFL history for the second time in his career. So congrats to him on getting his new contract. So let's get into some of these matchups here. So we'll start off in college football. Now, the one game, like I said, well, actually, you got 3 games today. So we have BYU and SMU. SMU is an 11.5 point favorite. We got Indiana against Western Illinois. And Indiana is a 42.5 or 42.5 point favorite. And then we got Duke and Northwestern. And Northwestern's a 2-point favorite. So those games are tonight. But some of the other matchups tomorrow, you got Pittsburgh or Pitt against Cincinnati. Michigan and Texas. Number 10 Michigan against number 3 Texas, which is a game I want to, keep an eye on. Penn State against Bowling Green. Akron against Rutgers. Rutgers is a 22.5 point favorite. But yeah, I want to keep an eye on that Michigan-Texas game because Texas, they blew out their opponent last week. Colorado State, they won 52-0. Michigan's offense struggled against Fresno State. They pulled away towards the end, but their offense struggled. This is a home game for Michigan, but I like Texas in this game. The offense for Michigan really didn't impress me, but we'll see if they play better tomorrow. Georgia is taking on Tennessee Tech, and they're a 54.5 point favorite. Iowa and Iowa State. That's later on in the day. Iowa's a 3-point favorite. Utah and Baylor. Also Colorado. That's another game I want to keep an eye on as well. Wake Forest and West Virginia. Kansas and Illinois. It's so many games. I'm trying to find Colorado. Also, NC State and Tennessee. NC State is a 10-point underdog. Yeah, Colorado and Nebraska. That's the game I want to also keep an eye on tomorrow. Nebraska is a 7-point favorite. So, some good games on the slate. Boise State and Oregon. And then USC is taking on USU. So, but yeah, some of the games I want to pay attention to: Colorado and Nebraska, Texas and Michigan, NC State, their matchup against Tennessee. Adam Bernstein in the chat says, "I think Quinn Ewers will have a great game." All right, we'll see. That's a tough Michigan defense he's going up against, but yeah, I like Texas in that game. We also got a subscriber, Game Live 24/7, and he commented in the chat, Otani or Ruth. Well, this is a football show, but Look, I didn't see Babe Ruth play, but I'm still going to give it to him. And you might say, well, you're biased because you see what's in the background. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're going with the Babe on that one. So, now let's get to the NFL games. So, let's start off with Pittsburgh and Atlanta. So, there was some news that broke yesterday that Russell Wilson is still dealing with that calf injury, and he's limited in practice. So, it's possible that we could see Justin Fields play week 1. Now, again, nothing's been made official yet, but that calf injury has been bothering Russell Wilson, this for a while now. And it seems like it's not going away. And it's one of those injuries that's tricky. So, again, it's possible that we could see Justin Fields. Yeah, this is a tough game to pick. Right now, the line moved, so Atlanta's a 3-point favorite. Line was at 2.5. I'm going to still lean towards the Steelers. I don't feel great about it, but that's what I'm leaning towards. And it has to do with their defense and Mike Tomlin. But the way the offense looked in the preseason, not really encouraged by what I've seen. So I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh and take them with the points, but would not surprise me if Atlanta came out on top. The Bills and the Cardinals. Cardinals are 6.5-point underdogs. There's people that are very optimistic about the Cardinals. And the Bills went through some changes this offseason. No more Stephon Diggs. Lost some other guys as well. I think the Bills win this game, but I think it's going to be competitive. I think the Cardinals are going to keep it within the number. Kyler Murray playing a full season now. I like the Cardinals to cover, but I think the Bills win outright. So, that's my pick there. Then, another interesting game, Titans and the Bears. So, this line opened up at 4.5. Now it's down to 3.5. I actually like the Titans to cover. I think the Bears still win, but I don't know. I mean, this is Caleb Williams' first game. He's going to struggle. And, what a lot of people are talking about is the physicality of the Tennessee Titans. And that, that might rough up Caleb Williams a little bit. And, very well could. But yeah, we don't really know what Caleb Williams is going to be just yet in the NFL. I mean, I think he's going to be very good. I have him winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Same thing with Will Levis. We don't know what Will Levis is either. I mean, the Titans, they went through a lot of changes. We'll see if DeAndre Hopkins ends up playing. But you brought in Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Tony Pollard. They really tried to improve this team. Now you got a new coach as well. I'm going to say the Titans keep it within the number, but I'm going to say the Bears win. Then, Patriots and the Bengals. We're still waiting on official word if Jamar Chase is going to play. I hope he does. The line opened up at 9.5. It's down to 8.5. I don't know. I mean, I like the Bengals to win and win by a couple of scores here. I think they're really going to bring it. With the Patriots' offensive line struggling the way it was in the preseason, I think the Bengals will take advantage of that. Now, the Bengals typically get off to slow starts. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think they're going to win by a couple of scores and they'll cover the number. It was at 9.5. Now it's down to 8.5. I like the Bengals to cover here in this spot. So give me the Bengals. 3 more games here in the early slate. Texans and Colts. Colts are now 3-point underdogs. This line started out at 1.5. So I don't know what changed. But, there's some people picking the Colts to upset the Texans. And I get it. It could definitely happen. The Colts, I think are going to be a good team this year. Full year of Jonathan Taylor. Full year of Anthony Richardson, you hope. But I like the Texans. I like the Texans here. I picked C.J.Stroud for MVP. So, I'm going with the Texans. Got the Jaguars and the Dolphins up next. Dolphins are 3.5-point favorites. This is the GSMC Bowl because we had that big Trevor Lawrence Tua debate. And, you got to go with, I'm going with the Dolphins here in this spot. I'm going with the Dolphins. The Jags, you hope they're better this year. Trevor Lawrence plays well. I mean, excuse me. Both guys got their new contracts, the 2 quarterbacks. I don't know. I think the Dolphins with their firepower on offense, it's going to be hard for the Jags to keep up. So I'm going to take the Dolphins. And then finally, probably, not the best game of the slate. Got the Saints and the Panthers. Saints are favored by 4 points. Let's see, if all the moves that the Panthers made paid off and, Bryce Young has a better season. But I don't know. In New Orleans, I don't feel great about this because the Saints were a frustrating team to pick last year. I'm going to go with the Saints, though. Say the Saints win and cover that number. They win by at least 7. But we'll see. And then actually, finally, we got one more game, and it's the game I'm going to be at. How could I forget? Best for last. Got the Giants and the Vikings. Giants are 1.5-point underdogs. Look, got to pick the Giants. But it will not surprise me if the Vikings win this game because I think the Vikings have a better team. But they got Sam Darnold playing quarterback, so who knows? So, those are my picks for the early slate. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you have winning these games? How do you see them playing out? Let me know in the comments. So, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, I will then preview the late slate, the late window games. We'll talk about Browns, Cowboys, and the other games as well. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.